So, hi, JoAnn.
Hi, Jackie. How you doing?
So good. I am so glad you could join me. For everyone watching this video, I want to introduce you to my friend, JoAnn Dickinson. I'm going to let you introduce yourself, JoAnn. But both of us have a resolution this year to do more collaborative efforts and collaborate with other authors. So this is our first effort going forward of doing that. So, JoAnn, why don't you start us off and just tell us a little bit, quick intro about you?
Sure. My name's JoAnn Dickinson. I'm an author and publisher, self-author and publisher of most recent book, Who's New at Lou's Zoo. And I started just briefly back, share with you that I started back in 2016 with a vanity publisher, and then also moved on to my second book as with a vanity publisher as well in 2018. So I don't know how deep you want me to get into that, Jackie, if you want me to keep going on that, or we can always touch on that on another question.
We're going to touch on that a little bit with one of my questions going forward. So,
Sure.
uh, for those who don't know me, my name is Jackie Nix, and I am the author of the award-winning Modern Farms children's book. And I am owner of Moo Maven, which is my own imprint that is dedicated to educate and inspire children regarding the role of agriculture in their daily lives. And this is my first book and currently working on the second book. But JoAnn and I are just going to chat a little bit, and hopefully you feel like you're just eavesdropping on us having a little bit of a girl talk here. So,
Yeah, that's great.
JoAnn, you talked about how you first started out with a vanity press. What first got you to decide to be a children's author?
Well, I was watching my grandson back when he was just a baby, and grew up with him over the years. And, when he was a baby, and then he started walking and talking. And 2016, he went camping for the first time. And so it was so fun to hear him and see his little face light up, talking about how much he loved camping and nature and hikes. And I said, what a fun children's book. At the time, I was not an author or self-published author. And I thought, I didn't even know where to begin. So I started researching and didn't know anything about self-publishing. So I went to a vanity publisher at the time, Dorrance Publishing, and they were more than happy to take my money, and didn't do a whole lot for me. So I don't know. I wouldn't recommend that now.
Oh, I got a
But I
phone
did
call
at
from
first.
them.
Yeah.
So I definitely know what you're talking about.
Yeah.
They have a very good pitch.
Yes, they sure do. And I have a tendency to, buy the biggest and the best package because they promised me so much. And you know how that goes. I'm not sure if people out there that are going to hear this know anything or experience with that. But, unfortunately, my first book, they encouraged me. And now I know it was overpriced and it went nowhere. I didn't know anything about social media and how to drive, traffic to that. It wasn't on Amazon at the time. And so just a whole nother different side of the publishing world.
For fellow authors out there, especially those of you first starting out, you shouldn't have to pay a publisher.
Mhm.
Publishers should pay you, or if you self-publish, obviously you're paying your own way, but you should never have to pay a publisher. Red flags go off.
Mhm.
So,
Mhm. And I didn't know, naive, they saw me coming. Um,
well, they saw a lot of people coming. So,
yeah.
luckily, I had folks that I saw. I was in the Facebook groups, so I was forewarned. But
Mm,
yeah, they sure do find you. But
yeah, they do.
So with me, I first decided to be an author because I had recently, I guess you'd say, gone on sabbatical from my previous job. And my dad was dying of Parkinson's. And then after he
Mm.
passed, I was deciding what next to do. And for whatever reason, the idea of, oh, a children's book, because it's so hard to find books that accurately show agriculture, that don't show pigs in mud or farmers with pitchforks, or, you know, all different kinds of animals all living in the same red barn, which is totally unrealistic. And part of the reason why, that as a ag professional, I realized that when I was speaking to adults today, and a lot of their misconceptions about, big ag, and, the way we do things modernly with a lot of technology, it came from these misconceptions that real farms are Old MacDonald's Farm from children's book. If
Mm.
you really think about it,
Mhm.
a lot
Mhm.
of people's ideas of what a farm should be, the idealistic, goes back to the image of children's books. So I really wanted to have early childhood books that accurately depicted agriculture, and there's just far too few of them out there.
Mhm. It's a great topic, a great um, field to spread, wide open. You have the opportunity to share. I have a family member that owns a farm and agriculture, and her son went to school to masters in agriculture. And so it is needed
Yeah.
history in the children's books. So that's fun for kids to learn about.
Well, and that kind of segues into the next topic I wanted to talk about, is what we both did in our past lives. But you're talking about, your relative who has degrees in agriculture, and that's my background. I have
Mm.
multiple degrees in animal science, and prior to doing this, I was an animal nutritionist at a feed company, an international feed company. So
Oh my
I made the
gosh.
feed that for livestock. And then before that, I was a cooperative extension agent. And for those who don't understand that, because that's something that not everybody runs across if you're not in a farm community, but those are educators who are associated with the land grant colleges. So that would be like Ohio State or North Carolina State, Virginia Tech. Every state has a land grant college, and specifically has the role to teach agriculture to the public.
Oh,
But
interesting.
it very different from children's book world. But
Yes,
you
yes.
also had a very, very different background before children's books.
Yes, yes. I was a real estate broker. I still am a real estate broker, have my license. Always been self-employed. Started out in 2003 selling houses in Lake Arrowhead, California, and grew very quickly because at that time the market was booming, and it became very easy to me because I was self-employed before that. Even before that, my husband and I have owned businesses, but owned a Remax franchise, and now broke off from the franchise and own my own company, JoAnn Dickinson Homes Inc. So the author world, though, is my passion. I still have a real estate license, but my goal is to continue writing and publishing children's books. So yeah, very different world.
Yeah. We definitely share that. We both want to do this full time. We're working
Yes,
very hard to do this
absolutely.
full time. I want to touch on something because you mentioned you're in Southern California. I am
Mhm.
in Central Alabama. We're literally across the country from one another.
Yes, that's what's so great about Zoom and and meetings on, having hopefully in the future have live stream video is, our worlds are coming together. And I think we've talked about this before, Jackie, where, you are in agriculture and I write children's books about animals, and that's what's so fun about this industry is we both have other businesses that we've been in, and then you bring it together and it ties everything in together. It's just really interesting.
Oh, well, I know I met you, JoAnn, uh
Mhm.
on Facebook. We were both in an author group, and just really fell in love with your Lou Zoo book.
Oh,
Just so
wonderful.
gorgeous, so gorgeous. Of course, you've got your Riley book with, love that for empowering girls and STEM. Being a scientist myself, I love that.
Yeah.
And that is just so great how, and that's what drew me to reach out to you, is because of that shared
Mm.
animal theme of, I'm in animal science, I've a minor in biology, of you basically, you name it about animals, I probably know it.
Oh my gosh. That sounds like a fun world, though. That sounds like a great thing to get into, industry to be in.
Oh goodness. Well, you had touched on this a little bit earlier when you were talking about your earlier experience with vanity publishers, but
Mhm.
tell a little bit more about how you decided to dive in and start your own imprint. For those of you who don't know, that's a technical term for a publishing company. It's an imprint. So,
Mhm.
JoAnn, you own your own imprint. I own my own imprint. What made you do that? Because it's a lot. It's a
Yes, it
lot. We
is
could
a
have done it.
lot.
We could have done it without it.
Yes, yes. Well, it's a whole other world and business to learn. And so the ins and outs and how and who to work with and different people that I've met over the last only a few months over the last year. But my second book, Lulu and her new fur friend or Lulu and her new best friend, was my second book in 2016. And Dog Ear Publishing published that one because I thought I was going to have a better experience. And they went out of business. I went to order another order from them and my hardcover, and they had gone out of business. And I thought, my goodness, what am I going to do now? And so I thought at the time in 2000, I think that was about 2019, 2020, I thought, what am I going to do now? So I started researching, and I found on Facebook the whole self-publishing world and the different people that were on there. So I started researching it, and being self-employed for so many years, I knew all I need to do was either attach it to my existing corporation or create a DBA, and there's my publishing company, Two Sweet Peas Publishing, which was named after my two grandkids that I've always called them Sweet Peas. And I said that's what I would call my publishing company when I created one, if I did. And so, it's just a matter of getting a DBA, and then I started writing a few more books while I was researching being self-published. And I kicked it in high gear last year. Just last year, I launched my first self-published book. Riley, the Young Rocketeer, was first. And so, it just went very quickly. A lot of people say, oh my gosh, you've only done this since last April, or actually it was January when I created the publishing company. But yeah, it's just you get on a roll and you know what to do, and you've got all your people in place. The editor, I hired an editor that I use, Robin Katz, and book designer Praise Sackler. And once you have those people on your team members help you put that in place, and then hiring a printer. So yeah.
Wow. It's a lot. For me, I hadn't been a business owner before this. This was definitely new ground,
Oh.
but honestly, when I decided that I was going to do a book, I it was never even a question of whether I would take it to somebody else. I had a very specific vision and I wasn't going to let anybody else touch it.
Mm.
So it was, I knew that because so many times when you go to a publisher and you have a vision, but then they have a very different vision, a very different,
Mhm.
with mine, I actually, okay, I had a unique situation. I am an artist and I drew the drafts for my book, but I hired a illustrator who had book experience because I didn't have book experience. And she brought my drawings to life. So it was very much a collaborative effort that it's my art and my style, but she is the one who brought it to life. And so it a lot of times with publishers, they might want one and not the other. They may not be very interested in the art, or they may not be very interested in the story as is, or make it want to do edits. And I was like, nah, I like it mine the way it is.
Do you
So
mind me asking, Jackie, how did you find that person that helped you um, illustrate or put the book together?
total fate. It was such a I was participating in this group where it it's like speed dating, but just for meeting people, not for, it's like business purposes, where you would
Okay.
have literally 5 minutes with people. And we were going through and I was meeting this and I was describing to this gentleman about, oh, I'm going to do a book and this is what I'm working on stuff. And he's like, oh, the lady I just spoke to told me she's an illustrator. So he gave me
Oh
her
my
name
gosh.
and we hooked up. And I grew up in Ohio. She lives in Ohio right now. We just clicked and
Mhm.
it worked. Her name is Karen Light, and she did a great job. And she does great jobs for other people too, if you want to look her up. Um, but yeah, it's just one of those things that was meant to be, of where, when you're ready, things fall in your lap and
Yes,
you,
yes.
it comes to you.
I
So
know that very well. Yes.
that's exactly how it started. So it was just kind of crazy.
Oh my gosh. That's what I love about this author, self-published author, social media groups. There's author groups, there's illustrator groups, there's author illustrator groups, and there's so many people. That is really what helped me, baby steps along the way. And then once you meet one person and then they say, oh, I've talked to this person. And, everybody is so willing to help. Majority of the people are so willing to help and direct you, even if it's just in the right direction, because you don't know where to start. And
Oh,
that's what I
absolutely.
love about that. But it sounds like you had a little bit more, you were already in that self-publishing groups, you said earlier, Jackie, that helped you get your foot started, get your right foot forward.
Well, actually, when I first met Karen, no, I was not.
Oh,
Um,
okay.
that was in actually, again, this is really funny because I was, going back and reflecting and going back through some old journals and everything. In my mind, I thought all this started in 2020. Really, it didn't start until January of 2021. And Karen and I signed our contract
Mm.
in February of 2021.
Oh, I
And
didn't
then
realize that.
the book was published in June of 2021. So it's been kind of a fast roller coaster, actually,
Yeah.
of going forward. And um, which kind of segues into work in progress of what I'm currently working on is my second book. And
Oh, how
this
exciting.
time I have decided I'm gonna full out do it myself. I'm gonna do the artwork. I will hire a book designer, but I'm gonna actually, instead of having that middle person, both the cut down on costs plus also artistic license and
Mhm.
yada yada. It's more mine. I'm a control freak.
That's okay. That's okay in the self-publishing world.
But my new book is called Bonnie the Bovine and Her Bodacious Burps, and
Oh gosh.
it will be a all of my books are nonfiction. This is going to deal with cows and the environment. And it's going to talk about the science of cow burps and carbon cycle. And it's going to be very much STEM and sciencey, but fun, and put to rest some of the rumors about how cows are destroying the environment when they're part of the environment. So uh
Oh, fun. That's
tell me about
very
yours.
knowledgeable. Yeah, sounds like a knowledgeable book to take to schools and teach kids all about that field.
I'm excited about it because this is the first one was real general and I'm proud of it, but this one kind of digs in there with my science roots. And
Yeah, I love the title. It's a fun title.
so tell me about your next book that you're working on.
Oh, yes. Well, I have a few this year coming out, but my most recent book that's we're getting ready to do a Kickstarter with is Lou's Zoo and Winston too. So Who's New at Lou's Zoo was last year, and this second one will be part of a series. So we'll create a series. And we actually have a third book coming, probably not till next year, just because I've got so much going on. But we are going to start the Kickstarter on February 13th. And I'm really excited about these books because, as you said, Jackie, that you love the illustrations and really excited about that book. Lauren Sparks is a spectacular illustrator, and she's really brought my story to life. And this one, the first one was just kind of simple, introduce some of the animals. This next one shows their environment that they're living in and takes place in South Africa because that's where the majority of the animals are. But
Oh,
touches on kindness again and compassion and anxiety. So the animals, a couple of them have anxiety about who's the new guest coming.
mm.
Not as big of a secret this time, but Winston the Wise Owl, that book kind of ended with it open, left it open. And so this second book is going to pick up where the first one left off. So I'm excited about that. And then I have another new one that's coming out. Riley's Rover is the second book in my Riley the Young Rocketeer series. So I have that one, and then another camping book will follow later on this year.
That is one of the beauties of self-publishing, is that you can
Yes.
rapid release, whereas
Yes.
with traditional publishers, it's like a 3 to 4 year wait between when you're pitching by the time it finally gets published. So it's I'm so excited with you doing all that's where I'm hoping to get, is by when I start getting better at this, because with both of us we learn as we go. And
Yes. Yes.
the first one is slow, but then you kind of gain some momentum, and it's like a snowball
Yes.
rolling downhill. But I see that we're approaching our time limit here. So JoAnn, why don't you tell everybody about where they can find your website, and we'll put the link in the comments below. So go ahead and tell
Okay.
everybody your website address.
Sure. My website is JoAnnDickinsonAuthor.com, and social media as well, JoAnn Dickinson Author. If you just Google my name, you'll find that they'll all pop up there. But my website, you can purchase. I have a WooCommerce on my website, so you can purchase any of my books on there. And you can also email me and contact me. But yeah, it is It's been a great half hour, Jackie. Oh my gosh. I feel like it's been packed with all sorts of information, even learned more new about each other.
Oh yeah, definitely. And my
Yeah. How
website
about you?
is moomaven, MOOMAVEN.com. And from there you get to all of my social media, my links to my books, and how to contact me. So yes,
Wonderful.
thank you so much, JoAnn. And I look
Oh, you're
forward to doing
welcome.
this again.
Yes, me too. Very good.